Yo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. The Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam was just as long and just as boring as SummerSlam could have ever turned out to be. They did absolutely nothing tonight to get me excited about the future and the direction of WWE Raw going forward from today. It was an absolutely terrible night on Monday, which is usually the case, and we are here to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare. You guys are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show Monday Night Raw review and reaction show. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
You know, late last night, I was sound asleep and I was awoken at about 2 a.m. I was full of sweat. My stomach was doing all kinds of weird things and I thought I just had to go take a leak. So I ran to the bathroom and I went to take this leak and I ended up puking my guts out. And I would end up throwing up a couple of more times throughout the night. I was so sick all Sunday night that I ended up calling out of work this morning because I just felt like absolute trash. And that feeling does not compare at all to how I felt during any one of the minutes during the 3 hours of Monday Night Raw that I had to watch tonight. When you have to come on this platform and tell everybody here, like I have to tell you, that the only thing to talk about on Monday Night Raw is A, the Miz and Morrison finally broke up, which could actually be a good thing, and then B, tonight, Monday Night Raw, August 23rd, 2021 will forever go down as the night that the WWE made Karrion Kross look like a complete and total asshole. Oh, they made him look... How could they have made him look stupid? Think about it. This is WWE, where they take things that were fucking awesome in NXT and they turn them to complete garbage on the main roster. Here's a guy that came out, looked like a badass, right? He had some cool gear. He came out with a smoking hot blonde wife that was so damn hot that she would burn your eyeballs out. They had a great theme song. They had a whole package where she would come out and do the whole thing. Karrion Kross was over as fuck in NXT, and then they come to Monday Night Raw with him, and since he's been there, they've treated him like garbage. Sure, he's got a couple of wins under his belt now, but that means nothing when I have to show you guys this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Karrion Kross. This wouldn't have been cool in the late 90s. This would have been one of the people that we would have booed out of the building then. It's so corny. It's so cringy. Oh, but I'm sure you liked Demolition, Mr. Nightmare. Well, of course I did. Who the fuck didn't? Because that was back in the mid-'80s where walking around in a Jason mask with spikes on top would be cool. We are in the year 2021, and you got Karrion Kross coming out here looking like a knockoff Shredder. They should name him Rivet because his fucking mask is full of all these Rosie the Riveter holes, and he looks ridiculous. He looks even more ridiculous without the mask somehow. He looks like some knockoff reject that they left on the cutting room floor for Mad Max. Oh, look at this getup. Forget this. Leave him on the cutting room floor. He's trash. That looks ridiculous, even for us back in the 80s. What are they going for here? This is just another one of these crazy Vince McMahon, I'm out of touch bullshit things that he does to his superstars. Like dressing up Drew McIntyre like fucking Braveheart and having him carry a sword. Now you got this guy, Karrion Kross. You've already gave him a stupid name like Karrion Kross. He was Killer Kross. And now he's Karrion Kross. Because, you know, we can't say the word killer on WWE TV. And now they made him look like Dumbass Kross. I can't even come up with a proper name to convey just how dumb this is. He's Corny Kross. Corny Kross coming out here looking like a Ninja Turtle toy from the fucking mid-'80s. It is absolutely disgusting. And I know so many people are going to be telling you, you're going to hear a lot of people go, oh, give it time. Other superstars have been successful in stupid gimmicks, or after stupid gimmicks. You immediately want to think about guys like Ron Simmons, who had that ridiculous getup. You think of guys like Lord Tensai, and these people that Vince McMahon throws out there. Give them ridiculous outfits and expect them to get over. This is like when he sent out Rikishi as the Sultan before he was Rikishi back in the day. This is so bad. This is so not meshing with the current temperature that is pro wrestling. How can you get behind this? Especially if you're a fan like we are that know of Karrion Kross from his days in NXT and how great this guy looked. And now you made him look like this. He almost looks worse than Slapjack. This looks like something that an 8th grader put together in craft class. I could have made a better mask out of some tinfoil and some cardboard, and it would have been more intriguing than this. I know it's not going to spell death to his career. The death to his career comes simply from the fact that he's on Monday Night Raw. He's dead in the water already. You could dress him up like Bozo the fucking Clown. It is not going to do anything. You could dress him up like Triple H, have him come out with Stephanie, and it's still not going to get a reaction. They killed Killer Kross, and they made him look like an idiot tonight with this ridiculous getup. They throw him out there, and he gets to squash Ricochet in a couple of minutes. You want some squash? Want some more summer squash? You didn't have enough summer squash at SummerSlam with the travesty that was Bianca Belair. Let's have some more squash tonight. And it gets worse than even that. Like I said in the open, the only positive thing to take away from the show is that the Miz and Morrison broke up. And now we don't have to deal with any fucking drip. We don't have to deal with any of their nonsense, their hey, ho, ho, Miz and Morrison. There's the dough. I don't care anymore about that act. And this is the best thing that could have happened to them. I am far more open to seeing The Miz versus Morrison going forward than The Miz and Morrison continuing to do their dreck that they have been doing on Monday Night Raw. It has just been friggin' terrible, and I'm glad it's come to an end. And we don't have to see that shit anymore. No more Moist TV, Miz TV, whatever. I'm sure we will see those things again, but it's not going to be in connection with each other. I think The Miz can take himself to this heel place. He looked pretty good tonight, turning on his partner. I think it's got some heat to it, and I think they can do great things. What they have already done wrong is made the match for these guys next week. Now, let's not jump the gun and jump down their throat. Yeah, it's not the best idea to kick off this feud just as it's getting its feet wet with a straight-off match on Monday Night Raw, which is going to do nothing. But this is fine if The Miz wins by disqualification, runs away, gets counted out, tries to avoid John Morrison, tries to get out of the match, somehow have a stupid finish. This is when the schmaz finishes and the false finishes and the DQs or whatever, this is when it's called for. When you want to have a match, Miz and Morrison, but you want to make sure the real match you're getting is at a quality pay-per-view where people will spend money and subscribe to Peacock to see the end of this culmination of this feud. If they go right out there and John Morrison just beats The Miz, or Miz flat out just beats John Morrison, you've given away the match, it's already happened, and it doesn't matter anymore. But we'll have to wait and see what they do with that. The same kind of thing could be said with what they did with the opening segment tonight. Monday Night Raw opened with Bobby Lashley coming out. He wanted to talk some shit about Oldberg, which is fine. Oldberg, bye-bye. I'm so glad that we didn't have to see him once again on Monday Night Raw, despite how mad he was. He was screaming, "I'm gonna kill you," to Bobby Lashley, and now he's gone. I guess he doesn't care enough about his son to get any revenge on Monday Night Raw. Maybe there's not enough money in the contract for him to go smash his head on a locker in the back and run out and do something stupid on Raw. Either way, I'm grateful that didn't happen. Don't get me wrong. But what I am not grateful for is the fact that the first thing WWE decides to do is have Damian Priest, our new United States champion, come out there on Monday Night Raw and challenge the WWE champion just a couple of days out from SummerSlam. How does this make sense? But once again, I'm trying to be a nice guy. I'm trying to be understanding. I'm trying not to be so hard with this hammer, and I'm trying to give them time, because you want to start something like a Damian Priest versus Bobby Lashley, that's a feud that I could get behind. But I don't understand why you want to do it immediately after Damian Priest wins the United States Championship. This is your time to build him up, give him a feud away from Bobby Lashley, and have them, side by side be dominant champions, so that when you get to the match at whatever pay-per-view you want to do it at, it means something. So immediately, when Damian Priest and Bobby Lashley ended up being booked in the first match on the night, I was pretty mad about it. Because there's no way anybody comes out looking okay. But they did what WWE does, and it was barely 2 minutes before Sheamus came running out and screwed this whole thing up and actually saved everybody. He saved Bobby Lashley from having to take a loss or pin somebody he shouldn't be pinning just yet, and the same for Damian Priest. But, of course, this boiled down to a tag team match because Drew McIntyre came down, and now I'm afraid that Drew McIntyre is going to be put against Bobby Lashley again, and I don't want to see that shit again. Does it really matter that he beat Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam? Does that put him in line for contention to the WWE Championship again? That's the first little scrape on the bottom that you got out of the way. Now you got to climb yourself back up, Mr. McIntyre. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. And now we got an impromptu Teddy Long special on Monday Night Raw this time. Tag team matchup. You had Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus and Bobby Lashley. And Bobby Lashley ended up leaving Sheamus high and dry, leaving him to take the brunt of this match and ended up taking the L in this match as Damian and Drew McIntyre defeat Bobby Lashley and Sheamus, well, mostly Sheamus, not Bobby Lashley because he walked off. But it was cool while it lasted, I guess. I don't mind it. At least we didn't have to see Damian Priest with the Miz and Morrison. We didn't have to see Drew McIntyre with Jinder Mahal. And putting all these guys around Bobby Lashley means they're all pretty much in main event contention, right? And Damian Priest, I guess, as the number 2 champion on Raw, he deserves to be there. But there's some mistakes that were made here. Some of the things wrong with this segment right off the bat is that you gave away a champion versus champion match, albeit that you gave it away for 2 minutes, but you didn't even give these guys time to be champion before you're throwing them out there and doing a U.S. champion versus WWE champion in the opening segment on a Monday Night Raw following a SummerSlam. It didn't really make sense, but they wormed their way out of it by having the bullshit finish, turning it into a tag team match and giving the win to both Drew McIntyre and his partner tonight, the new United States champion, Damian Priest. And as I said, while I wouldn't mind seeing Priest and Bobby Lashley, now is not the time for that. And I like how Sheamus, even though he was the heel in this scenario as well, is really friggin' pissed off. He didn't just blow this off. He was pissed off at Bobby Lashley for leaving him out there. And he went back there pissed off and confronted him about it. And if you want to throw Sheamus towards Bobby Lashley for a couple of matches in between whatever it is they got planned for him in the future, I'm more open to that than I am to seeing Drew McIntyre in there with him again. And definitely keep Damian Priest away from him right now. Let him be an awesome United States champion. Don't do this shit yet. It's not necessary. It was just a quick way, I think, to pop the audience, trying to generate ratings, if that even matters to them anymore, just by having champions versus champions in this situation. They certainly didn't book it or promote it that way off the start of Monday Night Raw, but I mean, it is what it is, right? You gotta take it for what it's worth. And I see it that way. This was just completely random, just thrown together on a whim. And it was just ridiculous. Didn't make much sense to me. Nor did it make much sense with anything that they did with the women's division tonight. The women's division is a hot mess. It has been for months. And it hasn't gotten any better with Charlotte Flair being placed atop the WWE mountain on Raw once again. And they have this random tag team match scheduled. Apparently, Nikki Cross approached Rhea Ripley in the back and was like, "Hey, don't be down. I know what'll pick you up. Be my tag team partner tonight." And Ripley's like, "Sure, I'll go beat up Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. That'll make me feel good." And now we have two women who were just in the championship match. One of them a former champion who was just the champion on the Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam, being randomly paired together and thrown into an absolutely meaningless tag team matchup. For what? You know why? Because nothing says I don't know what the hell to do with these characters than throwing them together in a random tag team that came completely out of nowhere. I know that they were teamed together sporadically last week and or leading into SummerSlam, whatever the case may be. But why? Why? I thought they were trying to make Rhea Ripley a heel. Is that what they're gonna do now? They're gonna do what they're doing with Randy and Riddle, with Nikki and Rhea? I don't care too much about it. I actually was more hopeful that Nikki was going to be placed in a feud with Alexa. You see, because her trying to almost be a superhero, shouldn't she almost have a fucking super villain to fight? Wouldn't that be a good way to go about it? And Alexa being Little Miss Hocus Pocus, I have magic powers from the Fiend now, would be an excellent foil for somebody walking around in a mask and a cape thinking she's a fucking superhero. And Corey Graves said something great tonight. Corey Graves was like, you know, Bruce Wayne doesn't go around almost being Batman. He is fucking Batman. Batman's not almost a superhero. Batman is a superhero. So Nikki Cross still doesn't have an actual superhero name, but just acknowledges the fact that she's almost a superhero. Just like she almost is a winner. Just like she's almost maybe over, probably over with the little kids and shit, but any one of us with a functioning brain that have at least a high school level intelligence or higher, you don't care. You don't care. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. It was a good match. I'll give it to them. This was probably one of the better women's tag team matches I've seen in a while. Rhea Ripley didn't look as bad as she usually does. And even Shayna and Nia were decent tonight. There was one spot where Nia made me laugh my ass off. She was going up to the top rope to do a Vader bomb, and she got kicked in the leg, and then she held on to the top ropes while the rest of her was just hanging there, and she wouldn't let go. She was just hanging there, and I'm just like, why is she staying in that position? She literally hung there until Shayna got up from the floor and tagged herself in, and it just makes the wrestlers look stupid. I don't understand those spots where they hold themselves in position on the ropes like that. People used to do it for Alberto Del Rio to do the double stomp, and it's just so agitating to me. And I'm just sitting here watching her flailing around the corner, holding on like a big ball of trash in the corner. Just fucking let go. Let go, get up, and tag your partner. You look ridiculous. You look ridiculous. The big hair didn't help. She just looked like a giant Furby just in the middle of in the corner of the ring. It wasn't flattering, is what I'm trying to say, but it doesn't matter. In any case, while the action was good, everything that's happening here is totally meaningless. Totally meaningless. And what did they have for Charlotte Flair tonight? Oh, good God. When Charlotte Flair comes out, I swear to God, I would rather take a fucking beating from Walter in the middle of an NXT ring during a takeover than have to listen to one fucking word out of this lady's mouth anymore. She comes out every time she wins the championship, says the same exact fucking thing, and then they did this weird thing tonight where Charlotte did a promo, ended her promo, raised the belt, her music hit, they had pyro, and then the music stopped, and then she kept going because she wasn't done. Now, I don't know if that was a miscue by the idiots in the back because she raised the belt and took too long of a pause between sentences, or if this was, supposed to give her a minute to relish in the title before she continues her next fucking paragraph. What? Who wrote this shit? What are we watching here? Why am I listening to this? My ears are starting to want to detach themselves from my head and run away and go live in some colony where body parts would be accepted, I guess. I don't know. That doesn't make much sense, but you understand what I mean. It's painful. It's painful. I'm the 12-time champion. I don't even have that many fingers. Nobody does. Nobody has 12 fingers. Well, maybe some people do, if you live close enough to a nuclear reactor or some shit. But in any case, it was typical Charlotte. She's putting herself over everybody. She also decided to take credit for the woman's evolution. Again, I started the woman's evolution revolution, and I'm gonna start another one. And nobody really gave a shit. She came out in some silly looking purple outfit. The crowd was all over her. She was trying to give it back to the crowd, but they weren't having any of it. And then just when you thought it was over, out comes Alexa Bliss, because nothing gets me more excited than when there's one superstar in the ring that I don't care about and is doing nothing worth my time, than when they are confronted by another superstar whose character I just simply can't get behind anymore. What's going to make Charlotte Flair better, having her in matches with hocus pocus spooky nonsense? Absolutely not. You know what they should have done here? Instead of Alexa Bliss, who, as I earlier said, should have maybe been put into a program with Nikki or somebody else, they should have had somebody like from NXT. No, I shouldn't say that because they hate everybody from NXT, but you could have had somebody come up, you know, like maybe an Io Shirai or a Dakota Kai, or maybe bring back an Ember Moon or somebody, and have Charlotte actually go down a more serious path. Be the serious evil queen you want to be. But now you got this serious evil bitch that the crowd wants to boo, going up against this girl who thinks she's an evil bitch. She's possessed by a demon. She's also somewhat playing a heel character, and we're supposed to get involved. Oh, by the way, Alexa just came out because Lily wanted to say hi to Charlotte. So if that doesn't say to you that this is where they're going with this, I don't know what does. But that, in the nutshell, was the women's division tonight, and it was awful. Absolutely awful, as usual, when it comes to Monday Night Raw. Getting back to Moist TV tonight, they had everybody's favorite YouTube guy, Logan Paul, show up tonight, and this backfired in a huge way. It actually made the split of the Miz and Morrison even more enjoyable to me, because I absolutely love when the WWE goes out and gets some fucking person who's pretty much a celebrity in their own little world, right? Nobody outside of Logan Paul fans gives two fucks about Logan Paul. Unless you're into them, to which case, good for you. You're entitled to be entertained by a couple of clowns if you want. You're watching me, ain't you? So, you know, if you watch Logan Paul, I don't blame you. But I don't, so I don't give a shit. And most of the WWE audience don't give a shit. Apparently, there's not a big cross-section of fans between the two fandoms, and they paid for it tonight. They wanted Logan Paul to go out there and play like the babyface celebrity, so that when The Miz turned on him, the crowd would be on Jake Paul's side. But the crowd hated Jake Paul so much that when The Miz was getting in his face, they were supporting The Miz, who's supposed to be doing some sort of a heel turn here. And at some point, Logan Paul was just like, look, you guys got this, I'm going to leave, when Morrison and Miz started to heat up a little bit more in their exchanges, which was the best thing he could have done. Nobody cared. The crowd didn't give two shits. Every time this guy opened his mouth, the crowd let him hear it, and they booed and booed and booed anytime he talked about anything of his. And then we got down to business with Morrison and The Miz. And yes, I just purposely rhymed that for you guys and your listening pleasure. So Morrison and The Miz were kind of one-upping each other. They were telling each other to stop making everything about themselves. Miz was accusing Morrison of this. Morrison was accusing Miz of this. Both of them pretty much the most selfish superstars that there ever was. And then they kind of came to some sort of agreement as The Miz was about to take on Xavier Woods. For those of you guys who don't know why Xavier Woods has been flying solo on Raw, it's because Kofi Kingston is injured and he still has not been cleared. That's why he wasn't with Xavier Saturday night at SummerSlam, and that's why he wasn't with him again tonight. Hopefully we see Kofi back soon. However, Xavier Woods gets a very rare win on Monday Night Raw in this match with The Miz, but of course there had to be shenanigans, you know, because we got to protect The Miz, and also we have to further the story between him and Morrison. Morrison, at The Miz's instruction, tried to use the dripstick, ended up backfiring. Xavier Woods gets the win over The Miz, which is what causes some more dissension after the match. Morrison tried to apologize, and The Miz seemingly accepted, only to end up punching him dead in the face while they were squirting their dripsticks, and then beating him down, nailing him with a skull-crushing finale as the crowd was stunned. I wasn't. You guys know, as you've been watching me, we've been calling for this to happen. We've been hoping for this to happen. And now it has. Hopefully they don't ruin it any more than they already have. We also seen tonight Eva Marie beating up Doudrop in the back. And we're going to get a match between them next week. Are you excited? Are you excited? I can't hear you. And it's not just because you're in a completely different place. It's because I'm hearing crickets because none of you care. I don't care. You don't care. Nobody cares. Are we going to get Piper Niven back after Doudrop beats Eva Marie? Which probably won't happen. Knowing Vince McMahon, Eva's going to beat Doudrop first, at the very least. But if Doudrop beats Eva Marie, can she have her name back? Can we call her Piper Niven, or do I have to keep calling her Blue Buns for the rest of her life? Doudrop. Silly name. Silly name. Still not over it. Just like I'm still not over Reginald. We had to have a fucking Reginald segment tonight. He was flipping around in the park, getting ice cream from an ice cream truck. R-Truth and Akira Tozawa came because they still give a shit about a title nobody in the world gives a shit about except for Reginald and R-Truth, and apparently Tozawa. You know the one, the hey, look at me, I'm a clown, avocado-colored, gold-plated, 24/7 championship of trash. Nobody fucking wants it. Nobody wants to see it. I don't care that Reginald's not a French guy now. I don't care that he used to perform in Cirque de Blah Blah. I don't give a shit that he's getting fucking ice cream. I don't care. I don't care about any of this. This is just absolutely 100% dead air. Dead air. Wasted TV time. Not getting over with me. Is it getting over with you guys? Do you guys have a change of opinion in Reginald? Let me know in the chat or in the comments down below. Tonight was mainly, once again, about Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. And I want you guys to riddle me this. Why does Matt Riddle still shoot fucking pigeons from his feet? With this RK Bro thing, I thought for sure they were going to take him a little bit more seriously. But hey, I guess pigeons got a pigeon, right? Or something to that nature. It was just Randy and Riddle night. They were going to have a celebration. Randy didn't really want to take part in the celebration because, you know, Randy's a quiet guy. He keeps to himself. He's all cool. But Riddle, you know, he wants to party. And they're going to have a celebration tonight. Randy doesn't want no hugs. Riddle can't wait for their party. But Randy just asked Matt Riddle, please, bro, don't do anything stupid. And Matt Riddle's like, would I do anything stupid? And we all know the answer to that question. It's just, of course he's going to do something stupid, but it wouldn't be as stupid as what we had to see come next, and that would be Mansoor versus Jinder Mahal. Why this is happening? Who knows? I'm more interested in whatever story they're telling with Mansoor and his alliance, or lack of a better word, partnership with Mustafa so far. Mansoor wants to do this match his way. He doesn't want Mustafa to be out there with him. He wants to beat Jinder Mahal on his own. And Jinder Mahal is going to come out with Schmear and Stanky. We know that's going to happen. And this match didn't even get going before it ended in disqualification. And then you had Ali yelling at Mansoor. He's like, see, you wanted to do it your way and you failed. Now we're going to do it my way. Can we please do it my way? Because that's the right way. And that's the interesting part of it. Anything else that had anything to do with Jinder or his two goons, like, I didn't care. Do you? Why would you? Drew McIntyre was in the back with Damian Priest. He was talking him up. He was pretty impressed. Damian was already done with the night. And Drew was like, oh, look at you. You're all showered. You're all dressed. My terrible Scottish accent. He then had a little exchange with the guy. They were thanking each other and whatever. Priest said winning the United States Championship is like living a dream. And then McIntyre wanted to go and get a couple of drinks. and Priest accepted, and why? What does any of this mean? Once again, wasted TV time, wasted of my time watching this. Where's this going? Where's this going? Who cares? Just random friendships. Drew McIntyre makes friends with everybody. He's talking to Sheamus. He's talking to everybody. He's best friends with everybody. The Charlotte Flair promo came next. I hated it so much, I'm not even going to talk about it again. She was confronted by Alexa at the end, and now we have that to look forward to. Fantastic. We've seen some more videos from Elias. Elias is dead. That's what I keep hearing week after week. Elias is dead. Elias is dead. Elias is dead. But here he is tonight. He's walking around in fields and in forests and shit. He's putting on hats, looking like a farmer now. It's like Elias is dead. And he killed the musician in him, and now he's got to focus on the wrestler in him. Shouldn't you have been focusing on the wrestler in you from the fucking beginning? And once he does that, he can conquer the world. I conquered entertainment, now I want to conquer wrestling. And isn't that a bad word in the WWE? Is he going to get fined for saying that? Hopefully not, but who cares? He put on this really funky-looking white, like Undertaker-looking hat. He's standing in the middle of a field, and he's dead. But there he is. I'm staring at him, and now apparently he's a farmer. Fantastic. Who gives a shit? He's got his grave out there in the middle of fucking nowhere. Nobody's gonna find it. Nobody's gonna give a shit. So bad. Monday Night Raw continues to be the absolute worst show on television. Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley defeated Nia and Shayna, as we talked about before. It was I'm going to give the girls credit. It was a good tag team match. They gave it a decent amount of time, and it had a relatively simple finish. But Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH actually winning means that this is probably going to continue. Are they going to be the new random tag team flavor of the month that they're going to parade around the women's tag team division? Who knows? Who knows? But this was about as random could be. And I just feel bad for both of these girls. They were just wrestling for the championship, and now they're on Raw in the mid-card doing nothing. Doing absolutely nothing. The RKO celebration came after that. It was interesting. Riddle came out. It was kind of reminiscent of some of the stuff they used to do in the Attitude Era. The ring was all done up. There were balloons. He introduced Randy Orton. Gave him a big old, really flattering introduction. Randy came out. And then Riddle gave Randy a gift. He got something for Randy. He got Randy his own scooter. Matching scooter to go ride around with Riddle. Riddle says he keeps seeing Randy eyeballing his scooter, so he went out and he got one of his own. Next thing you know, inevitably, our worst fear with RK Bro has been realized already as we are heading towards a cycle of never-ending rematches in the tag team division. AJ Styles and Omos came out to confront them. AJ was trying to put a wedge between Riddle and Randy, telling them, hey, listen, Randy didn't get you nothing, Matt Riddle, but I got something for you. I got you a phenomenal forearm right across your face. He challenged Riddle to a match tonight on Monday Night Raw, which means we have to bring up the rematch alert, because this was exactly what we seen on the Go Home show Monday night. Riddle versus AJ Styles. But Randy Orton wasn't in his corner. And apparently Riddle said that was going to make all the difference. And I guess it did, because Matt Riddle got his win back from AJ Styles tonight. 50-50 booking has returned and is blatantly out there for the world to see. Apparently AJ and Omos want their rematch. How else are we going to tell this story? Does anybody really care? We're going to keep seeing this over and over and over again, because there are no other tag teams in the division. Mush and Teabag didn't even make the cut for tonight's show. Right? They got one legitimate tag team, as far as I can remember, on the entirety of Monday Night Raw, and they didn't even use them tonight. You could have had them face the tag team champions, give them a solid win, and then get confronted by AJ and Omos when things were done at the end. But no, instead we're just going to copy, paste, repeat like we love to do. So silly. And Monday Night Raw goes off the air with a rematch, a good match, because Riddle and AJ have fantastic chemistry. We've seen them wrestle so many times, and every time they give us a great match. This was a really great match. Should it have been the main event of Monday Night Raw? No, definitely not. Bobby Lashley, after defeating Oldberg, should have been made to be the main event segment. He didn't have to have a match, but that shouldn't have opened the show. Should have ended the show. Could have had him celebrating throughout the show all night long. You know, feature your WWE champion. Show him in championship fashion. No girlfriends, no champagne. You know, just... I don't know. But that was Monday Night Raw. That was everything up and down. If I missed anything, you guys can please shout it out to me in the chat if there's something that you want to hear me talk about that I missed. I'm pretty sure I covered everything from top to bottom, and it was nothing but a never-ending cycle of poop hammers, with a fart noise included. 2 for good measure. 3 because it was really that bad. Come on. Come on. Rematch alert for the main event. I didn't mean for that to come up, but it did. And it's fun. Who cares? You know what else? Let's look at this again. Let's look at this again. And let's all laugh. Let's all laugh at poor Karrion Kross. I don't want to laugh at this guy. I fucking loved this guy. I thought he was going to be great when they brought him up. But now I got like a melted shredder. Or a Mad Max reject. Or he looks like that guy. And any of you guys watch Rick and Morty? Remember that episode where they went to like that Mad Max dimension and then Summer fell in love with that dude with the bucket on his head? Like, this guy looks worse than that. And that's an animated show that's intentionally drawn to not look so great. You know who I'm talking about. I forgot his name. Damn it. But you know who he was. Well, now he's Karrion Kross. There was a picture circulating on Twitter that I didn't grab, but apparently it was Burt Reynolds in some kind of a red sash shit that looked almost exactly like this. Made me laugh. Made me laugh out loud. They're comparing this to so many things right now. It's ridiculous. I've seen this picture side by side with Shrek in the helmet. You guys remember the first Shrek where he put the knight's helmet on? And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at Karrion Kross as Shrek from the first Shrek. I don't want to do these things. I don't mean to be mean. I really don't. But they make me do these things. They make me see these things. And I have to come here and show them to you. And I feel bad having to show them to you. I feel bad having to give you my opinions on this because it's not going to be good. He looks like he can't even see out of his face. I can't see shit out the sides of my eyes. He's got too much shit on. Oh my God. Fucking just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. His presentation was perfect. All he needed was Scarlett, and the crowd would have ate him up. I don't get it. Let's name him. If you're just tuning in to wrestling and you didn't know this was Karrion Kross and you seen this guy come into the ring, what do you think his name would be? Let's give him some names and I'll shout him out, because this would be fun. This will be fun for us to do. We're live here on Sledgehammer TV. I got the Sledgeheads in the chat room. I want some funny names for this version of Karrion Kross. Hit it. Hit me up. I guess we could just call him Russell Crowe. Oh my God. Do you see what I have to work with here? This is what I put up with for you guys every single fucking week. I have to watch this shit. But at least I can find a way to make it funny, right? We got to talk about it. It's terrible. There is no, Justin. There is no Batman villain. I don't care. You can pull out Egghead. You could name the worst, corniest Batman villain ever. Calendar Man. Like, no. Nobody looks that bad. Nobody looks that bad. Batman villains are awesome. Even the dumbest of the dumb. They have a man that makes toys called the Toy Maker, and he's a fucking more awesome character than this version of Karrion Kross. Terrible. It's very possible Vince is trying to embarrass him, not to get Scarlett, but just because he fucking hates NXT and anything that has to do with it. It's apparent. Triple H sets all these guys up absolutely perfectly, serves them up on a platter, and then he takes off all the garnish and he wipes off all the seasoning and he just turns them into some plain old fucking dish. It's like getting a delicious burger, right? You go to the diner, you order the cheeseburger deluxe, and it comes on the beautiful plate with the lettuce underneath, and then you got the patty with the cheese all melted perfectly and everything, and then it's got the tomatoes and the onions and the lettuce and the ketchup and the mayo, if you're into the mayo, or some of you guys out west, you put the mustard on the burger, which is fucking delicious, and you got the sesame seed bun, and you put it on the top, and you get it at your table, and then you take the bun off, and you take off the delicious onions, and you take off this, and you take off that, and you scrape off the cheese, and you wipe off the mustard, and you put it on, and now you just got a plain old fucking patty on a bun, and then you take a bite, and you go, well, this ain't as good as it looked. Why do you think? Because you took all the good shit away from it. This is what he does. He's done it to everyone. From simply removing parts of people's names to changing their outfits like Keith Lee and to changing their gimmicks up 100%. He'll never just take something from NXT as is. I'm surprised there are a few from the early days that snuck through. We got Kevin Owens pretty much the same way he was, Sami Zayn the same way he was, Shinsuke the same way he was, but yet he still found a way to ruin each and every one of them. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how fucking perfect you are. He's going to break you down and build you into something that he wants to build. And that's what it's all about. Falcor is too cool of a name. Let me pull the picture up. Let me pull the picture up again. This guy, Falcor's too cool for this. Falcor is also the name of the flying dog from the Neverending Story, and that's awesome. This is not awesome. Nice try, though, Yosh. Nice try. Mark Mero and Sable is a great comparison. Remember back in the day when Mark Mero showed up and he had his beautiful wife Sable with him? Well, of course you do. If you're my age, you remember Sable. You probably had the Playboy. You probably had her on your wall just like I did. She was beautiful. She's married to Brock Lesnar now. Probably still beautiful even as old as she is. But they ruined Mark Mero due to the popularity of Sable. This girl came out there and got that whole act over. But men being men wanted to see Sable more than Mark Mero. Mark Mero was not worth watching. You know, this is the guy that used to be a fucking Little Richard impersonator, and now he's walking around trying to be an MMA badass. Johnny be bad. No, Johnny be good. Whatever. It was terrible. But Sable got over, and then next thing you know, they were fucking getting divorced. And Sable was the superstar, and Mero was left out in the cold. I would agree with you, Mr. Mike, on that. Just in the way he's ruining the character of Karrion Kross, but he didn't even let Scarlett come up with him. You know, like if that was truly the intention, is to take the hot blonde and push her to the moon and make her the next star, then where the fuck is she? Why didn't he let her come? Why did he want to make Karrion Kross look like a jerk-off first? I mean, possibly the only way to save him even with this ridiculous getup, is if he makes a turnaround due to getting his wife back. Bring her up on the roster, tell him that, I'm going to make you back into the real Karrion Kross. Boom. Problem fucking solved. They solved it for you. Don't tell them because I'll never get the credit for it. We know they're watching. We all already know. Lots of bullshit on the show tonight. Yeah, there was not really enough wrestling. And when we did get to a match, with the exception of maybe 2 matches on this card, each one was less than 5 minutes. And that's so we can hear Charlotte fucking bullshit for 20 minutes. It's so we can have the opening segment be 20 minutes before we get into the action. And all the stupid little skits and bits in between that nobody really gives a shit about. It's fucking terrible. And it never gets better. It continues to get worse week after week. There was a little bit of hope for SummerSlam. I always get a little bit of hope in me when we come to a pay-per-view, because a lot of times pay-per-views, regardless of the build and regardless of the card itself, sometimes overperform or perform way beyond our expectations. That was not the case with SummerSlam. SummerSlam, for most of the night, with like 2 exceptions, if you remember the review from Saturday, was mostly a boring affair, mostly meaningless, lots of bullshit matches that we shouldn't have even had booked on the card. Roman and John Cena, I think, is getting way too much credit. I understand the end of the match was a lot of fun, but it took like a fucking half hour to get there, and we were already over midnight, and I was bored. I see a lot of people saying how great that match was, and I mean, it was a good match. It wasn't bad, but it was slow, and it was boring. And John Cena didn't seem to be wrestling with any amount of like desire to win. It's almost as if he was just going through the match the way he was supposed to. Upon rewatching it again, that's something I noticed that I didn't point out the first time that I noticed this time. But Monday Night Raw is never worth rewatching. I will never go back and further analyze any of these shows. They're lucky I remember what I remember to begin with. And just like we started this show saying, when the biggest talking point for Monday Night Raw is Karrion Kross looking like an idiot and the Miz and Morrison splitting up, when you look at everything else and the rest of the talent on that roster, if that's the best they got, then it's no wonder numbers continue to drop. It's no wonder everybody's going to end up flipping over to the Elite. And I guarantee you this, and I would put money on this. We'll never know because it's not going to happen. But if AEW was ever slated on a Monday night, if AEW Dynamite with CM Punk was head-to-head with Monday Night Raw, they're going to lose every week. Just based off of the fact that their product is so terrible that it doesn't matter how bad AEW might be. They got Punk. Like, it's going to be worth watching. More worth your time than watching this. And it's probably not going to be fucking 3 hours either. What was the last good Raw I've seen? God, it's been so long, I don't even remember. Maybe the last time I enjoyed a Monday Night Raw was probably back on that night when Finn Balor showed up and won the Universal Championship. That was probably the last time I enjoyed a Monday Night Raw. And what's that, 2017? 2018? Maybe even earlier? For what I can remember, I can't remember exactly when that was, but yeah, man, it was a long time ago. This show has been really bad for a very long time, and it continues to get worse. And their financial decisions and their business decisions and all the news that we see coming out on a business level, it just doesn't make any sense. They cut tons of talent. They're making buttloads of money. They're saying they need to cut the budget. Why? They're making record money, signing billion-dollar deals with networks and Saudi Arabia. But no, we got to cut the fat. We need to save money around here. We're not making enough. But when you think about all of the people that left or some of the people that left, and the amount of talent that was just slipped through their hands. Guys like Aleister Black and Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan, all people that weren't deemed important enough to bring back. Buddy Murphy, guys that were going out there killing themselves in shitty angles every week, but going out there and doing their job and getting nothing for it but a fucking pink slip at the end of the day. Now all of these guys got chips on their shoulders. Doesn't matter if they go to AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, they're going to kill it. They're going to kill it. And now the notoriety they have from being on WWE is going to bring more eyes to wherever it is they go, and less people are going to be tuning in to WWE stuff. And it's just absolutely insane to me how things have gotten this bad. Now, let's be honest. The Attitude Era, I tell you how it is. Look, the Attitude Era was a whole lot of fun. There were so many fantastic moments. Enough of them so that you don't remember a lot of the bad shit that we sat through. Some of the stuff that was tried back in the day. Some of the tag team divisions we had to sit through. It wasn't all perfect, but they had those perfect moments within them that made you forget that you watched a whole lot of dog shit in this show because you ended up spending the night talking about what The Rock did, what Triple H did, what Austin did with McMahon, and it was all fucking great. But it wasn't all great. If you go back and watch, you'll know what I'm talking about. The Hardcore Championship and how that evolved over the years and just was destroyed every single year more and more, made less and less important. Everybody forgets about the nonsense that they used to pull when they merged the Intercontinental Championship with the United States Championship, and then they got rid of the Intercontinental Championship, and all of these things were happening in the midst of a time where people were like, oh, wrestling was great back then. Remember how fucking great wrestling was? Remember when Punk and Daniel were doing their thing, and, yeah, WrestleMania 30 was great, and we had that moment, but for the most part, wrestling was shit. Look at what we had to go through to get there. Even CM Punk, the Summer of Punk from 2007 or whatever it was back in those days, there was a lot of bad stuff on Monday Night Raw. Right? Kofi Kingston debuted with a fucking Jamaican accent. Right? This is nothing new for the WWE to do stupid shit. Nothing at all. This is what they do. The only difference between now and those eras, like the worst years ever, like 95 and now currently, the only difference between these moments and those moments were in between all the shitty things we had to sit through, and the Katie Vicks and the genius Lenny Poffos and all these ridiculous fucking things. There was great, long-lasting, historic moments sprinkled within them. Which is why everybody has that taste in their mouth and thinks that the Attitude Era was the best. Or if you're a little younger than me, you think the Ruthless Aggression Era was the best. And you're forgetting about things like Chuck Palumbo and Billy Gunn. and things like Zach Gowen. And all the stupid shit that WWE always tries. WrestleMania 25. With what they did to the women. The first ever women's battle royal, won by a man who was dressed as a woman who does not exist. These moments of shit are littered throughout the WWE. This is nothing new, boys and girls. We all know this. We should be used to it and accustomed to it by now. But it never gets any easier. The problem here is that the awesome moments are few and far between. And it makes getting to those moments not worth the wait. I mean, look how long we've been in a really shitty situation with the WWE, and only now, finally, they're starting to feel the fire because AEW's got Punk, so now they bring back Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar in one night. Ooh. They're starting to feel the pressure. Maybe, I was hoping, maybe that was going to start to help them right the ship. But if tonight's Monday Night Raw is any indication, it's not the case. Thank you guys so much for being here with me tonight. We're about to wrap it up. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Thank you to Barry Trunk for the super chat tonight that I just now seen. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate all your love and support. Let me see what he says here before we sign off. How could they take an amazing act and believable badass in NXT and completely ruin it is beyond your comprehension and mine as well, my friend. But, as I said, we should be used to it because this is what he does to all that come from NXT. We're used to it by now. Well, at least I am. And if you're not, my buddy Barry, brother Barry Trunk, get used to it, brother, because it ain't gonna change at all. Thank you all for being here with me once again. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Team Thor, the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Yeti microphone, but the most important member of this team, as always, each and every one of you, especially when you're hanging with me here live on Sledgehammer TV. I appreciate you all more than you will ever know. That, my friends, is going to do it. If you missed anything SummerSlam weekend, it will be on the channel. Just check it out. It'll be there for you to check out right now as we finish this off. Make sure you do all the YouTube things if you haven't already. Like, share, subscribe, all that great fun YouTube stuff that helps this channel grow each and every week. I depend on you to do that, so now do that. Don't forget to leave a comment down in the comments section below, and don't forget to check out our new sponsor, BarkBox, which is a delivery service of high quality and healthy delicious treats for your furry wrestling fan at home. They give it to you every month. You could sign up for 1 month, you could sign up for 3 months, but 1 month, 6 months, 12 months. There are theme boxes that you could pick. I happen to get just in time the WWE themed box, which you may be able to still get your hands on before August is over, but maybe not. I can't make any promises on that, but they have others to choose from and delivered to your door every single month. My dog loves everything that came in that thing. The treats he goes crazy for. They smell so damn good that I want to fucking try one. They smell delicious. Check it out. The link is in the description below. BarkBox. Toys for your dog. Healthy treats. On me. Click the link in the description below. Now, that is going to do it. We are out of here. And we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. And I'm so sorry, Karrion Kross. And what do we say?
Thanks, Vince. Oh.